Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, NBA edition. Today, we are here to wrap up the NBA season. We have the NBA aficionado with us, Mr. Evan Debo. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Martin. Happy Father's Day to you as we record this Sunday, and we are here to pay homage to a new NBA champion. Recap the finals, and we quickly flip the script over to the draft here in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, definitely 100%. And Evan, let's just go right into it. If you haven't heard, I'm pretty sure you did. The New York Knicks ended their 53-year drought and won the NBA championship in 5 games against the San Antonio Spurs. Evan, I know it's been some time since that series has ended, but what were your initial thoughts of the matchup, the games, the history we witnessed, just the whole shebang?
I definitely thought the series was going to be longer, but I did pick the Knicks, which was not the popular pick before the series started. They were actually plus money before you played a game. I think a little bit of the people, wanting to tout Wemby right now and seeing what they did to the defending champs in the Western Conference Finals. We just watched the Knicks, rattle off, go 12-2, winning however many in a row they did, including sweeping the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals to get there. I definitely thought the series would go longer, but I mean, we'll get into it here in a second. But I mean, the series was kind of hey, we got some established dudes over there in New York City. Spurs definitely had some opportunities. Games were close, but it was characterized by Spurs outscoring in the first, and then the Knicks just can't go away, taking blows and dragging them out into deep water. And then they come storming back in the fourth over and over and over again, and they get the gentleman's sweep. And like you said, end the 53-year drought. I mean, did you see that going in? Just in terms of the Knicks being able to take care of business like that. I'm sure you definitely thought they were capable.
Yeah, I thought they were capable, but I didn't think it was going to happen like the way it did. As you said, I thought it was going to be a more 6 to 7 game series with both these teams, because both these teams, like you said, the Knicks were just stomping everyone when they got to that point post the Atlanta series, and the Spurs just took out the defending champs in 7 games in OKC. So you felt like those two type of teams colliding, it was going to go 7, but Evan, it was kind of just crazy, man, because the Spurs were up double digits in game 1, 2, the legendary game 4 game where they were up 29, and game 5, and they lost all of those games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a young team making some just mistakes you cannot make. Game 2, Wemby gets that big stop in the final seconds and then turns the ball over on the back of Castle, and Brunson sees it the whole way, and he fouls him.
Yep.
And I mean, you cannot do that. And I mean, how quickly people, thankfully, forgot about the Cavs blowing a 22-point lead with less than 8 to go in these finals when the Spurs blew a 29-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many micro moments there, right? We can point to that turnover on the back. We can point to, the collapse down the stretch and what Mitch Johnson could have done differently to prevent that. When Wemby was off the floor, New York just cooked, and Luke Cornett was unplayable. I just want to go on record and say I'm tired of hearing about De'Aaron Fox and how he didn't perform in this series. I mean, De'Aaron Fox was injured. Like, I'm never a big guy I've seen enough of De'Aaron Fox over the years to know that dude wasn't right. And even when he wasn't right, he was still be able to somehow, because as fast as he is still able to get by some dudes. But I mean, clearly he was impacted. So, I mean, I think everybody tried to throw him in the trade machine after game 2 and game 3, but I don't feel like that was right to him. And sometimes you run up against that. I saw the Cavs in 2015 run up against that, where, Kevin Love was ripped out of us in the first round against the Warriors, and Kyrie Irving's knee finally gave and kneecap buckled in game 1 against the Warriors of the 2015 finals. Sometimes it happens like that. Kudos to him for trying to get through it and play through. But, that was a huge piece of this series too, and he needed veteran leadership and everybody fully healthy.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's not the series wasn't lost on just De'Aaron by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, like you said, he wasn't healthy, and then yes, he did have mistakes or whatnot, but it wasn't just lost on him. I would just say more to the just you couldn't count the Knicks out of any game. I mean, you just really couldn't.
No,
Their resilience. I mean, again, like you said, it really made the Cavs blunder just disappear since the 29-point lead happened on the NBA Finals stage. And Evan, that game, man, I just could not believe what I was witnessing, what I was seeing, the comeback and the way they won and the tipping. And now I'm thinking, I was like, I mean, that's got to be a statue at Madison Square Garden. The
yeah,
OG
yeah, yeah.
Anunoby
That
tipping.
OG
It
tipping.
has to be.
And then
I
again, I mean, so all those sequences, you have the Josh Hart missed layup. You
Yep.
have the OG stop on Fox, who should have
Yep.
dribbled the ball out. That's not
Yes.
injury. That's just awful decision making there.
Yes.
I want to be clear. And then you've got the OG tip in after the Brunson missed three. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an all time moment in New York Knicks history. I mean, just so many pieces in that game four there. And I mean, it just absolutely swung the series because I mean, you're getting ready to go, back 2-2. I had plenty of people text me at halftime of like, well, here's everybody overreacting and we're going to go back to San Antonio. I said, no, no, no. I've seen this way too often. Especially the Cavs fan, not just what I saw in the Eastern Conference Finals, but going back to Christmas Day as well too. Same thing, just zombie Knicks. They hang around, they take all the blows. It's almost like a Fast and Furious race, right? Like where like the other team or the rookie guy against Vin uses the NOS way too early, and then the Knicks go by in the last quarter mile laughing and saying, "You blew it early, man. You just
Yeah.
you just stomp the pedal down." And we've been running this race methodically and tactfully, and you're out of gas, and we're not. And Wemby was out of gas in the series, man. It's just, I mean, he's young, he doesn't have the muscle weight and stuff up, but I mean, they made him work and made him run all the way around the court.
Yeah. It's just really amazing because like that group, I mean, winning it for New York and like you said, Wemby them are young, but on the flip side of that, like with OG, a lot of people finally saw what he could really do if you haven't paid attention. Then Jalen Brunson. I mean, now the newly crowned finals MVP, and obviously his stardom and status is going to be elevated. And he's one of the last. I mean, I don't want to say one of the last, but he was one of the most recent unselfish dudes we've had in the NBA, Evan, even though different sport. He took the Tom Brady route. He took less money to get the help.
Yeah, there's a lot of agents that are going to be mad this summer and successive summers about
Hmm.
this getting thrown in their face about, well, see what Jalen Brunson did and see what the
Yep.
Knicks were able to do. Saw what Jalen Brunson did and how much less he took. And I mean, he didn't. There's been some crazy numbers that like he turned down 113 million or something in the aggregate. That's not accurate. I think it was closer to 30 some ended up actually being. But I mean, still, like it all matters. Like the Cavs right now are trying to get under that second apron, and I mean, every dollar matters. Every
Yep.
$500,000 increment matters, especially when you got guaranteed money with draft picks and stuff coming up. I mean, it all matters. Now, I mean, at some point, the Knicks are going to have to figure out what they can keep together moving forward. And I don't want to be
Yep.
Debbie Downer because I mean they own this postseason. This was a historic 16-3 assault, largest margin of victory. I think what in the history of the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
Just insane. I mean, just listen, people. And I mean, again, the East probably a little bit down this year in aggregate, but I mean, again, they took it to the West best coming out, with OKC's injuries, eked it out of Game 7, and I mean, kudos to them. I mean, they just absolutely dominated this entire postseason. But you're exactly right. I mean, that's a new narrative coming out of this piece where it's been about get me mine on the financial side.
Yeah. And then also one of the few now, I mean, because obviously the Becky Hammond quote is going to be infamous forever because, she said you can't win with someone of his size like Brunson and name drop Brunson. Like it was during when he got traded in New York. And obviously He won. And just for the Knicks, man, 53 years, this is one of the NBA's historic franchises. And just seeing the fans and seeing the parade, having 2 million plus there, and all the fandom, it was a sight to see. It really was.
Jalen Brunson's closeout game, man. I mean, just like that's
45
why
of
you
them
get
boys.
that's why you get an alpha. I mean, he just was cooking. He said, I just got back in the just all that work back in the gym. I mean, just that mid range game, the heavy pull ups over and over and over. I mean, you just couldn't stop. And I mean, and people know you lean on him hard enough, he's going to get to the line. That's what he does. And I mean, I think it's an undershot or like an underappreciated art. Just the mid range game and just how ruthless that can be. Because I mean, there's plenty of nights people just aren't hitting from three and cooking. There's plenty of nights people are selling out at the rim. But, if you can have a solid mid-range game like that, that's how SGA's done it. That's how SGA did it last year. I mean, there's so many people. Like, I'd love to see it in, like, Donovan Mitchell's progression, right? Like, if he could get that more reliable, he's got that great push shot and the overhead kind of swooping drop in stuff. He can hit the three, but when there's absolutely nights, the three ain't falling. Can you get that mid range down and dialed in? Like these dudes can do it because at the end of the day, like that's what gets teams over the top is you can just have a Jalen Brunson go out there and be like, you know what, guys, I got this. And he has that in game 5. I mean, just an all time closeout. I mean, I don't think we've seen a closeout performance like that in the finals since 21 and Giannis in his 50 piece, right?
Yeah, that was the craziest. Yes, the since the Giannis 50 piece at home. I know they said this was one of the most points scored in an away closeout games and tied with Jordan's 45 that he did at Utah. But now we haven't had a crazy historic like closeout like that since Giannis's 50 piece. Yes, which is crazy that that was 2021 and we're in 2026.
The Knicks aren't going. I mean, the Knicks have some cap stuff to figure out. I don't think you can keep the game completely together. I mean, it seems like some of the early discussion is like, can you keep Robinson around? He's the longest tenured Knick, but I mean, that'll all be settled and figured out at some point. And if there's going to be more concessions made, because eventually you got to start paying these dudes and rewarding them to keep them around. And I mean, but a team that Leon Rose came in and just completely overhauled. And I mean, this has been a team of trades and winning on the margin 2023, picking up Josh Hart from the Trailblazers. Like, I mean, just such a great connector. And I mean, what a great rebounder as a guard. Like, I mean, every team needs a Josh Hart, needs a Alex Caruso, needs
Yes.
a Max Strus, not proven on that level yet. But I mean, just absolute dogs that keep the offense moving with offensive rebounds, making great decisions. Bruce Brown did that for the Spurs, right? I mean,
Yes.
when you team throw zone against you or doubles, that this is the guy, and that's how the Knicks just absolutely beat the doors off of the Spurs down the stretch. Would be, they'd send those doubles at Brunson, and I mean, like Jeremy Lin pointed that out in the coverage when they started roping him into the fold. Was you get that the second you see that double and your man comes off you, cut now to the center of the paint and start putting them in chaos defensively because they're going to be, I mean, it's just natural, it's just natural spacing and the architecture of the court, right? There's only so much ground to get covered up, even with Wemby, and they just went on an assault.
Yeah, and like you said, man, everyone needs that glue guy. Every you I don't think there's a championship team that's been had in the history of the NBA that doesn't have that Josh Hart, that Caruso, like that type of
Mm-hmm.
player. Like I just don't think you can win without one of those people on your team who are willing to do the dirty work or willing to take the charges, who may have one big offensive outburst or defensive outburst, and like you need them. You need them, or you can't win a title. Obviously, you need the star. You need the star player, the coach, all that. But if you don't got the role players, man, and that one guy who's willing to do
Ask LeBron
anything,
and the 2020 Lakers what they think of Alex Caruso, 2-time champ.
yeah, should have. That's the one they should have kept, man. I mean, He was a big piece in OKC. Shoot, you just saw him. He was keeping OKC for most part in the series against the Spurs.
Absolutely. I mean, just you have to have guys like that. And we're getting away from the narrative of, okay, let's get our big stars, but you got to have deep teams. You got to have tons of switchable guys. And you got to have dudes that are just absolute dogs that when the whistles start getting pocketed in the playoffs, like they do every year.
Yep.
Again, for consistency's sake, I wish that wasn't the case. I would call it how it is, whether it's game 1 or game 96
Yep.
into the postseason. But, you've got to have those dudes to go out and get it. And Josh Hart, like there was that quote that came out from, I forget who it was it Spoelstra? Somebody was telling a secondhand story of Josh Hart with U.S. men's stuff and said, Josh Hart isn't a 50-50 ball getter. He is a 30-70 ball getter, and they just crush teams when he gets them, and he absolutely does. I mean,
Yep.
go out and be that guy. Kids listening, friends with kids that, in the AAU circle that might go on to, have an opportunity and keep pushing it at the college level or anywhere else. Teach your kids, teach your sons and daughters, go out there and be a 30-70, ball getter when it comes to really 50-50 balls that aren't even within your realm to get. Because that's championship heart and mentality right there, and Josh Hart's got it.
Yeah. Now, Evan, this is the eighth straight new champ in the NBA. We haven't had parity like this in a very, very, very long time. What are just your thoughts here? An eighth straight different champ.
Um, I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see more of it.
Mhm.
I really think, with the new lottery odds too, right?
Yeah.
Where essentially, if you finish with the top 3, it was voted 29-1 with the Memphis Grizzlies dissenting because they got hosed on this for future draft capital. They thought they were getting with Jaren Jackson, that's now deteriorated. But if you finish with the top 3 record, you don't get the top 3 best odds. It's flat odds, but you get a greater percentage, finishing like 4 through whatever it is, 11 or 12 or something now. Then they expanded the lottery to 16 teams instead of 14. So, like, I think you're going to see teams don't want to finish with the third worst record or second or first. So, I mean, I think you're going to see I think it's going to be challenging. I think you're going to see more out of young teams, not throwing the towel, not resting stuff. Like, imagine if the Utah Jazz actually tried and cared this year. Like, you don't tell me they got some dudes on that roster,
Right.
for sure. Like, I mean, hey, Lauri Markkanen, we're going to find a phantom injury to have you sit for forever, or Jaren Jackson, go ahead and have that, surgery that you could have probably put off till the end. I mean, I think it's going to continue, Martin. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then something you've already said today about the second apron, like it's just hard to keep some of these
Oh, it's
teams
so tough.
together. Now, I do think some of the teams that have, I mean, they've been different teams that have won, but there's been a lot of the same teams that have been in the mix per se. Like the Boston team's obviously
Yeah,
been in the mix for all this time, but then, they had the injuries and all that. Obviously, OKC's been in the mix as well. I think the Spurs will be in the mix. So like the same, I feel like the same teams, if you look, have been in the mix the past couple of years. It's just like when you get there and then the second apron kicks in and the draft stuff you just talked about, like now you're really you need that top tier GM. You need it.
yeah. Martin, second apron penalties, and this is why it's so important. I mean, look what Boston did last year, breaking up the team they had. I mean, you don't tell me they wouldn't. Now, granted, they knew, hey, with Tatum, things are going to look a little different, and they didn't expect to be as good as they were this year. But I mean, they just basically gave Porzingis away for free. They let Horford walk.
Yep.
Um, I mean, just so many good assets out the door. But I mean, these are the real penalties for second apron teams. You cannot trade your first round pick 7 years out. You do not get a taxpayer mid level exception. You can only sign vet minimums to your team. If a team remains in the second apron 3 out of 5 years, their first round pick if they still have it, automatically goes to number 30. It'll likely be 32 when they add those 2 new teams in too. Outgoing salaries can't be aggregated or combined in trades. So you see a lot of those, hey, we're basically doing a dump of a really good player here because we've got to pay our other really good players. You can't acquire a player in return in an outgoing sign and trade. You can't use trade exceptions created from a previous year. You can't use cash and trade to buy a second round pick and like try to, get an up and comer for on a cheap deal. Like these are serious, serious things, man. I mean, Cleveland's facing this right now as the only team that started the year in the second apron. They've got some serious decisions to be made. I think the ship will ride itself out with what happens with James Harden here soon and a more of a team friendly deal. But I mean, there's a lot of tough decisions to be made across the league.
Yeah, we're gonna see, man. We are going to see. How do you feel? Did you catch any of the glimpses of the parade and the fandom? What do you think of New York's parade and just the pandemonium the Knicks bringing title really means to the city?
It was really cool to see for Knicks fans because I mean we got a taste of that in Cleveland, and the Cavs on Friday did a 10-year reunion. A lot of the main players from the 2016 team are doing that international golf trip right now, and just clubbing it up, partying up. It's so cool and fun to see. So I mean, like to see them get a taste is great. And I know obviously like the bad actors will dominate a lot. Like I watched a lady dump out an orange and blue trash can all over like a major sidewalk and take it home as a momentum. We saw the dude die, get resuscitated, and then try to he didn't know where he was at, trying to make out with the EMT who saved him. Just crazy stuff. You see Tyler Kolek get stopped by the cops.
That was wild. That was crazy.
But I mean, like this, so many cool nuances. Every day there was something new or a new video or a new angle of stuff. People shouldn't be climbing on light posts. People shouldn't be damaging and setting school buses on fire. Those things definitely happen. But, to scale, and life is an economy of scale thing, right? Is, for every probably 9-10 million people out celebrating at bars, restaurants, and the parade, you're going to have probably 100 to 120 people who are acting a fool, and everybody's got a camera nowadays. That's not indicative of the 10 or the 9 million plus that did it right. But I mean, overall, just cool to see all the boroughs come out and celebrate, and again, just all the cool tours and OG not knowing where he's at on live interviews, all the things that come with partying and doing the sprint.
Yeah. No, I was just have nothing more to add. It's just really cool to see, and like you said, Cleveland had a taste of that as well, and we'll see if anyone else gets a taste of it. But now, Evan, with the season wrapped up and all of that, and now we go in the off season and draft is all of that looming and all of that. But what was your favorite moment or some of your favorite moments of the NBA season as a whole this past year? Because also I know their success. Do you want to say this is the most watched finals that they said since 1998?
Yeah, I mean, ratings and stuff have been through the roof. I don't know that, like, I have, like, there's some, like, many moments that stood out. Like, as a Cavs fan, being able to play on Christmas Day again for the first time in a billion years, it felt like was awesome to see, like, selfishly. Shout out for the NBA Cup because it ended up being what our finals match was, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought things were more competitive that go around. I think there was just this rookie class was a good touch point. I mean, down to the wire, you were so like, is it Cooper Flag? Is it Continental? Some great things there. Seeing some coaches kind of pull one out that, I mean, like what Joe Maz was able to do in Boston without Jason Tatum for most of the years.
Yes.
Tatum come back as early as he did. As much as I'm just ingrained in my soul not to like the Celtics and everything about them. I mean, you just gotta love the work ethic, and they just consistently show up and get it done. But I mean, we got to see the announcement of 2 essential expansion team concepts where they're accepting bids. For Seattle and for whatever reason still Vegas. You got to see some weird, stuff that on paper, I mean, that like everybody thought the Rockets, who were the 2 seed the previous year, were going to go deep in Western Conference Finals and push, and they got KD, and they got bounced early, and KD was injured. I mean, the games conceptually are fine, or analytically, I should say, produce analytical champions. but you still got to play the games out. Shout
Yeah.
out Penny Atkinson again for that. I hope we can play the actual games and win them next year. But I mean, for the Cavs getting back to the East Conference Finals, another personal, even though the result was horrendous and we should have won game one. And I do think it's a slightly different series. We don't win the series, but I think it's a slightly different series if we win the first game and don't blow a
Yes.
22-point lead. But those are some of my pride points, are just cool things I'll take away from this season. Martin, you?
Man, you said a lot of good ones. Like that rookie race was so close. I felt like that was
And
a
we didn't talk
highlight.
about what Harper ended up. I mean, so those are the people on paper, but what Dylan Harper did this
He
postseason,
might be the better
I
one,
mean,
in all honesty.
he
He has,
might be the best of the three when it's all said and done.
yeah, yeah,
Never
no,
seen such poise from a kid that young. And I mean, we watched his um, college days, and I kind of got empty buckets score thing from a prospect that didn't want to be there in the Big Ten, but like, hey, he proved me wrong.
yeah, no, 1,000%. Just another things to add on to that. You said a lot of good ones. Again, another fine competitive MVP race. Like there's a lot of people that were deserving. Obviously, Shea
Mm-hmm.
got number two, but gosh, obviously Joker, Wemby. We talked about Jalen Brown, what he was able to do with the Celtics, and another feel good story for me. Even though we were the team that took them out, Detroit's rise, man. No one saw them being the number
Yeah.
one seed in the Eastern Conference. Cade Cunningham was a bona fide MVP candidate until he had the lung collapse. And I just felt like he never fully recovered when he came back from that. But them being the number one seed and us being number four and playing them in the semifinals took me back to some of my like most joyful basketball watching mid 2000s Cavs, Pistons, and seeing the
Yeah.
ascension of like LeBron. Like it really took me back to that, which really was a feel good thing for me personally. Like seeing Detroit be up there, but then no one saw the Spurs winning 60 games after from last year, and seeing Wemby's ascension too, and just seeing like all these young players in the league. Like I know people are resistant to change and things of that, but the NBA doesn't. I mean, these players force you to get hip, and there's a lot of good players, man. Like they're still the leading scorer. There's still Luka Doncic out there, who obviously he was hurt for most of the bit. Like if he was able to play a full season, what would have happened? Austin Reeves, like obviously Ant Edwards, who was in like two Western Conference Finals in a row until this past year. Like there's just a lot of good current and young players in the league, and like that old guard of like LeBron, Steph, Durant, like they've been pushed to the side, man. Like they're not the ones winning the titles right now.
They're not. Not to say that I'm writing some of those folks off for next year, and I think some front offices know, like, hey, we don't have many years of Steph left. Like, what can we realistically pull off? And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, they lost, Jimmy Butler, who I think between the two, Steph has the most expensive contract in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jimmy Butler has the 10th most. So obviously, that's a lot of payroll wrapped up in Steph, who did have a little bit of injuries this year, and then obviously losing Jimmy for most of it too. Like that wasn't great. But I mean, not writing them off, but yeah, I mean, there's just so much parity. I think you'll have these handful of teams are still going to be in it, but obviously it'll be a crazy off season in the next, 4 to 6 weeks, and especially around free agency. And I mean, where the heck is Giannis going to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a pendulum to be swung somewhere, and who knows?
So that's another one too. Like you said, where's he going to go? I just want to throw another feel good team out there, the Portland Trail Blazers, which I still to the
Yeah.
life of me don't understand how they didn't hire Tiago Splitter.
Yeah, I mean, you got this owner that's trying to like save money on stuff, and then he doubles down on and goes on like a podcast or something. He's like, don't look at me like I'm the outlier. Like, I mean, like this is like we got a lot of fat to trim, and this is how you become efficiency, and other folks are doing it. And I will say, was it the Lakers who ended up, or Clippers? It was the Lakers, wasn't it, who ended up like axing a percentage of some of their front office staff too. And I'm like, don't get me wrong. There's always places that through attrition, right? Retirements or something else. You're like, yeah, maybe we can be smart and reconfigure a department or two. I mean, that just makes sense from a business standpoint. But now when you're seeing record viewership and all these other things, and then, I mean, remember how they started the year too, back to Portland. I mean, where's Chauncey Billups right now? Not coaching the Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have this guy come forward and do this, and you let him walk to Chicago. Just, I mean, unbelievable job by Thiago Splitter, and I mean, the rise of Denny Avdia, and I mean, just outstanding. But I mean, just poor Blazers fans, and then they get back Dame.
Yes.
What a wild year in Portland, and Martin. I mean, all roads lead back to Giannis on every podcast it seems these days. Who controls a number of Milwaukee's picks?
Is it
The Portland Trailblazers.
Yep. Yeah,
from the original Dame Lillard deal.
You think that'll get done before the draft? Wherever Giannis is going?
If you took me back to Thursday night or Friday morning, I'd say yes. We're here at a little past 9:30 Sunday Eastern time, and I'm going to say no. Like I, there's always that percent chance it could happen, but I mean, there's been some reports by folks like Minnesota. There's a report that they'd reached out and thought they were close back at the trade deadline, and now Milwaukee's asking for like even more. Like, it's somewhat of an annoying saga too, of like, just, still Giannis can't be on record to personally, he thinks, to like not demand or ask a trade or blow it up, but like we all know he wants to leave. And Milwaukee just hasn't found what wherever they're going to find yet. But I mean, who knows where it's going to go? But I honestly think we passed that window. I think it would have happened this weekend. I mean, because if you want time, if you're Milwaukee, to scout and pick the players you want to draft with whatever draft capital you think you're getting from this draft. If you're getting draft capital, I mean, they could be sitting on something else. But I mean, I think for every megastar, right, you're looking for a blue chip prospect. You're looking for somebody who's maybe an early in their career all-star, or on the verge of being an all-star, and all the picks and all the swaps and all the stuff. But I think it would have happened by now if it's going to happen before the draft.
Evan, what were some of your least favorite moments of this season?
Good question. Let's see. I mean, the Cavs did have a number of injuries and so many different, like, high 40s lineups they played in 82 games. Like, that definitely helped with continuity and not having Strus all year. We mentioned again, like, small stuff like Jimmy Butler being out, all those kinds of things. I'd say a low light for me was Nico Harrison didn't get fired earlier. That did happen, but I mean, defense wins championship. You get Anthony Davis, he gets fired, and Anthony Davis is now a Washington Wizard for now. I definitely think it's probably in Washington's best interest to go ahead and move him. But Anthony Davis is saying all the things to try to get another contract and get paid with another injured superstar for things. Talked about the Vegas disappointment, and that for sure being announced as a expansion city. Yeah, I mean, I think in general, still way too many FanDuel ads. And hey, Chauncey Billups was involved with like illicit blackjack rings and betting and stuff. And this update's sponsored by Shams and FanDuel. Like, guys, we got to dial it back. I'd say I did just think of my biggest disappointment for the season. Heavily paid for, heavily acquired, severely underutilized are inside the NBA guys, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, we know what to expect with those guys, and like, like, we're going to get the great funny sound bites from Chuck and all the stuff, but I mean, they know the stuff. They're straight shooters. They don't talk down of the game, and like, ESPN just continues to find ways to underutilize them in a transition year. So, I mean, I hopefully there's some rebound for that, but that was a huge disappointment for me because they are I mean, they're just such great storytellers. Ernie Chuck, Charles Kenny, Shaq, like, and for whatever reason, Draymond in the playoffs. But that was a huge disappointment for me. Just seeing the lack of FaceTime and just, hey, let them go on untimed rants for an hour after the game.
I would also say too, because since it wasn't on TNT and all that, and they've been on TNT all these years, this was their first time ever getting to call the NBA Finals, though, right?
Yeah.
Like to be there live and like in real time because the finals is owned by ABC, ESPN, and they were a
Yeah.
TNT thing. So yeah, so but no, I get it. I get it. Those are all really good ones. Mine, I really only have one. Just again, I don't have a problem with the person, just the way it was done. Like the Bam Adebayo 83 points,
All right.
just for the fact that like your own team was fouling the losing team that was down by X amount just to get you free possessions. I do not like that. Like I did, like I still
No.
have a sour taste in my mouth, even saying it
That
out
was such a
loud,
black eye
even thinking about it.
on
Like
the
if you would
integrity
have
of the
got
game.
it throughout the like flow, but of the game and stuff like that, sure, it would have been. But the fact your team was up 20 to 30 points and one, why are you still in the game? Two, you're fouling the other team to get possessions. Like I still can't get over that. Like to me, that was the worst part of the season because that just brought and it just brought a nasty discourse through the NBA community that it did not need in that point in time. Like it was just bad. That and number two, which I've already talked about multiple times on here, gotta have a cleaner way to tell people where these games are now if you're gonna have all these different partners.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably right up there at the top of the list. Ridiculous. What app
Like,
do I need at what time? When?
yes, that's just I know it was just
Oh
way
wait,
too
this got
much.
flexed now to a different app I don't pay for.
Yeah, it was too much. Way too much for me. But Evan, also we're in the state that we're in. Just want to get into this team because we have to do. Again, we talked about them. Both happy they made the return to the Eastern Conference Finals. What would
Mm-hmm.
you grade the Cavs season?
Um, I say I want to give an A minus just in terms of they did expand to another series, but I mean I got to go with like a B. Let's go like a B plus plus, right? So like if
Hmm.
a 92 is an A minus, I'd say like a 90.9%. So obviously you punt on Darius Garland and you give out a second round pick. We don't own another second round pick till 2033. You had to Kobe punted on trying to find a way to bring back Ty Jerome, who we sorely could have used, based on a small sample size of getting abused in last year's playoffs. And hey, we'll bring in the Lonzo Ball thing. You had to throw seconds to get off his contract, because that was such a bad move, and he doesn't deserve to be. That's not true. Injuries plagued that man's career, but like he's just not an NBA player anymore, and that was a bad swing and a miss. So like you have to consider those things. But I mean, I will say, like again, I said this last time we talked about the Harden thing, right? Like James Harden, like does not this whole hey he doesn't show up on the playoffs, all these different things. Like we wouldn't have made it this far with Darius Garland as a point guard. Darius again said I was playing on 9 toes to end his season with the Clippers.
Hmm.
And like, is Darius with 9 toes going to hold up to like running into, B. Stu and Jalen Duren screens in the second round? Absolutely not. Like James Harden, like broke the tip of his thumb of his offhand, but still, like he was still playing. He was still like he had atrocious, atrocious assist to turnover ratio, and like in spite of that, we were still winning games. Like Jalen Brunson cooked him like over and over and over again in that big comeback. But like, I mean, like we wouldn't have been there without him. And at his age, like you can't associate him with MVP 2017 James Harden, have those same expectations. That's not his role. Where I think I'm more disappointed is like, the somewhere between, finding out a little bit too late, like what Mobley could do with more shot. Like there were plenty of times like Mobley like only got like 3 shots in the second half of like a loss. And you're like, what? Like, how does that happen? To like, again, like there are plenty of times like if the shot wasn't falling from distance from Donnie, like I'm like, you're supposed to be a top, top 5 to 10 player in the league, man. Like you're capable of it. Like what's going on here? So I mean, like we left some meat on the bone is where I'm getting at. And I some of the rotation stuff, some of the Kenny stuff, like he was right to get that criticism. I mean, there's another piece of me like, has Jalen Tyson be like a top 6 3-point percent shooter, and he's like unplayable, and he's one of your toughest. Like he'll make some boneheaded plays here and there, but like he's one of your like grittiest dudes. Like he could be in 4 years like a Josh Hart archetype, but like especially when you need depth. Like there's just some boneheaded stuff. I think we left meat on the bone, but I mean I'll give it a high B plus.
Yeah, no, I was thinking around the 85 to 89, 90% range out of 100 for me. I would have
Yep.
just said a straight up A if the conference finals was more competitive. I didn't think we were going to win either, but I just felt like if it was a little bit like if we at least pushed it to like 6 games, I would have said this is a slam
Yeah.
dunk season in all honesty,
Oh
because
yeah.
again, no one thought we were going to make the Eastern Conference finals, and here we were. And with the way these champions have been
Just
going,
after how that first series went. I mean,
oh,
two
yeah,
game
oh
7
yeah,
series, like
two game sevens. You're right, 2 game sevens, sweating day in and day out. Shoot, that one in Toronto, or was it Barnes who hit the game winner, or was it I feel like it was Scotty Barnes who hit that, and I was just like, it was unbelievable. But yeah, I
RJ
give it,
Barrett.
yeah, RJ Berry who hit the game winner. I give it a B plus. Would have been a solid A just for a more competitive conference finals things. And I'm just watching the landscape, Evan. And I know this is a popular saying, but it's like, dang. I mean, if the people get hot at the right time, why not the Cavs in the finals? The way that, like, if we can get things going, why not?
Yeah. I don't know what their tweaks are going to be this off season. So, you got to look at another plus from the, at least for now, for the Darius Garland piece is like, and I love Darius. Well, the concept of Darius just plagued with injuries. Definitely streaky shooting stuff. Not that James isn't either, but like, like here's where you're at with the Harden piece, right? Is like, so you do nearly matching salary trade now, but like Harden has, I feel like he has like a $43 million player option ish. I don't have the
Mhm.
numbers right in front of me for next year. He could opt into. If the Cavs were to like waive and stretch him, he'd only get 13 of that. So
Mhm.
like Cavs have his negotiation team a little bit by the horn. Plus, dude, right, wrong, and different on even a $100 fine. Dude just got arrested last week too. Like I ain't good look either. Like only guy in Texas to have a firearm out and visible and get in trouble for it. Apparently, that's a thing in Texas. But anyway, so like he's going to likely come back on a team friendly deal that's going to reduce that cap constraint when you're, every dollar counts in the second apron down to like the numbers are going to be somewhere between, I'd say, favorable in for the Cavs, 2 years, $28 million. Hey, if you didn't get where you wanted to, even cutting it down to like 35, which I still don't feel great about a year for him to get a multi-year deal out of this, reduces things heavily. But you've got Dean Wade, who's an unrestricted free agent, and he's your best wing defender, and obviously has a lot of offensive deficits. But like, how are you going to go out and replace that when you can't sign anybody other than the, vet minimum right now as well too? So like, what do you do? What do you do with the fact that you've got potentially guaranteed money on with the 29th pick here with all the swaps? You're essentially taking this first pick now in the draft Tuesday night. Do you keep it? I'm almost a fan of, while there are guys I'd love to like see come in and have some juice about and excitement about, like, by all accounts, rookie at pick 29 isn't going to get you over the hump and into the NBA finals, like, anyway. So like, are you better to like trade that with a team who wants a first round pick. Like Pelicans don't have a first round pick this year, and like can you restock the tool chest with a couple more, like get 3 seconds out of that, you know what I mean, over the next couple of years where you don't have any seconds. And seconds prove to be trade sweeteners for getting off contracts, or hey, a team wants to feel like they got something out of us. So like, hey, here's a measly second that like wasn't going to pan out anyway. Like that's absolute currency in today's NBA. Like, are they going to go that route? But I mean, a lot of stuff to figure out. It sounds like they're not going to do a Mobley for Giannis thing, which I think the Bucks would be amenable to. That might be the, you know, next to like a Jaylen Brown would be like the best player they could get out of any kind of potential trade. But like, I mean, it seems like they're going to run the team back and see what happens, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. But again, I would say more successful Cavs season, successful Cleveland Cavaliers season for where they ended up going. Evan, anything else on the season that you want to highlight in general?
Um, no, I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. So then let's just talk about then the NBA draft. Evan, you alluded that the NBA
Yeah.
draft is right around the corner for our day of recording. And what are your expectations? I know Darren Peterson's expectations. He said he's going number one because he's not talking to anyone else by any stretch of the imagination. But the Wizards get that number one pick. Do you think they're keeping it? You think what are your thoughts?
I think all three teams are keeping it. It's just a matter of you know, what they end up doing with it, right? It's you know, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. You saw it last year. You know, with uh, you know, the Utah Jazz and you know, Ace Bailey, right? Of like, hey, we got this weird rep thing who says he's not playing for Utah, whatever else, and he's like, well, I didn't say I was going to do that, whatever. But like, so you have Darren Peterson. I believe Darren Peterson and Keontae George both represented by the same agency, which is super interesting because like I think it's to their own personal best interest to try to get them on separate teams because like they're looking at like 3 years down the road, these guys could both be all-star guards potentially for two different outlets, and we're raking it in more, they're earning more and everything else, but they're on the same team, less touches, less money potentially, less opportunity. Like, so, I mean, there's a little bit of that narrative there, but I mean, I do expect the Wizards, I think, to take AJ number one, and then you figure it out from there. And then, you know, you don't rule out probably the most, they always say, like, of any player in this draft, and it's a common phrase, like the highest ceiling guy, like in terms of, you know, there's less room for a dip or a drop or just not working out is Mr. Boozer, whose dad, former Utah Jazz, former Cav. Yep. He does work in some capacity for the Jazz too. Like, what happens if that's an interesting wrinkle, you know, you throw in there now too. So, I mean, I think those are the three dudes off the top. Then you go A-Cuff, and then, you know, you're looking at Flemings and a series of other guards and stuff there. But, you know, I think AJ is going number one. I think that 6'10" creator, small forward type thing is that can handle and shoot. Like, it's hard to find.
Agreed. I don't really have any much more to. I think it's gonna go number one to Washington, which will be a very interesting team. Is obviously Trae Young, yeah, opted out, but I think he's gonna re-sign with Washington. I just think you nailed it. I think him one, Darren two, Cameron three. I do think Caleb's going to go four from North Carolina. And then again, it's a toss up. There's a lot of good players in this draft, and we know it's not about also just drafting it in a high position. It's right fit, right time, developing these players because we've seen a lot of high draft picks and they're not even most of them aren't even in the league anymore. So
nope.
It's all about development and right fit, all that. Because again, if you're expecting,
we'll see if there's any impact on the Giannis stuff Tuesday night. I mean,
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
great. Like once I believe, like thinking back to Andrew Wiggins stuff, like once players are drafted, like there could be some weird thing where like you have a deal, but like it technically can't be announced till like August. And again, the fact that we still can't figure out picks that have already been traded years ago and you know where they're going. Like the fact that you still have to walk up and have somebody with their crowning life achievement, 18 to 21, put on a hat for a team they know that's not actually drafting them is just, why can't we figure this out?
Yeah, no, agreed. And
It'll
anything
be
else, man?
frustrating, but it'll be fun Tuesday night.
Oh yeah, this Tuesday. Time recording. By the time you listen to this, the draft may have just concluded. So then we'll see and we'll go from there. Evan, anything else, man?
That's what I got. It was another fun sprint, my friend. And 48 hours will start the train down the tracks of, 26, 27.
Yeah, it is not that far away. Trust me, guys, it is not that far away. Thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe. Wherever you listen to. Again, as we've been saying, we are your podcast favorite podcast. And yeah, the NBA this season was really fun covering. And like Evan said, it begins again this Tuesday with the draft and then off season. And then before you know it, we're right back here previewing the season, picking who we think is going to win MVP. Time goes by really fast, people. So take advantage of the time you got. And with that being said, the L7C podcast signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.